Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Thompson, curator for Delegate Mark Levine on the Virginia Elections and Governance Hub. We're here at Sherwood Community Center at the Redistricting Forum. Here's our short interview with Delegate Levine. Thank you, Delegate Mark Levine, for being here and interviewing with us. So the first question is, why did you get involved in politics?
Whew. So I'm the kind of person that growing up, anytime I found something wrong, I wanted to fix it. And I think there's a lot that's wrong, both from the time I was a little kid to now. And I get very upset when I see things that are wrong, and I can either yell at my TV or break things, and that's not very productive, or I can go and try to change things. I've been doing protests since I was 5. My very first protest was against my mother for smoking cigarettes. And what I did is I took an entire carton of Kent cigarettes and I ripped every single cigarette because I heard cigarettes kill you. And I threw them all in the toilet. And my mom caught me full of, tobacco and she asked me what was I doing, and I started crying and said, I'm trying to save your life. And she didn't punish me. So there you go. That started my activism. I was very much involved, I can go on and on. I was involved in the marriage equality movement, back from when it was impossible to making it possible. I've done a lot of work on domestic violence, sexual violence. When I see things that are wrong, it hurts. And I don't want to just hear the bad news. I want to try to make it better.
What has been your most significant accomplishment to date?
Oh, wow. I've done a lot of good things. Like I said, so single accomplishment, because I did a lot. For most of these accomplishments requires an effort, right? You really, Margaret Mead said it best, right? Never doubt that a small group of committed people can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. So none of my accomplishments I've done alone. So let's just be very clear about that. I've done a number of things I'm very proud of. Marriage equality, one of them. I brought justice to my single thing that I did. I brought justice to my sister and her family. My sister was murdered 20 odd years ago by her husband, and I brought help. I wrote the legal briefs to bring the kids home, and they're actually doing great now, raised by my parents. That was a huge thing. But also in Virginia politics, I'm the guy that got cameras in the committee rooms. We hadn't done that. The people of Virginia had no right to see what was going on, how the bills were being made, and I formed the Virginia Transparency Caucus. We got that done. Single greatest. I mean, I brought 24/7 sexual assault nurse examiners to Northern Virginia so that a woman or a man who's sexually assaulted at 2 a.m. on a Thursday can immediately get care. I'm very proud of that. Medicaid expansion, that's something that we all did, and that's 400,000 Virginians. Medical marijuana bill, that was a bill. I can go on and on. But I've done a lot of things. I still have a lot of things to do.
What is the most important new legislation you want to patron for the 2020 General Assembly?
I have a lot. The one that may be the most fun is I have my bill to end electoral college. I think we should choose our president by the popular vote. But I also have bills like to raise minimum wage, specifically to allow localities to raise minimum wage so that Fairfax can have a higher minimum wage than Galax or Danville, if that's what Fairfax wants. I have a lot of gun bills, really important gun bills, to help stop gun violence, which I think is way out of control. I've done a number of bills like that. I'll continue to, whether it's background checks or red flag laws or assault weapons bans. You keep telling this single, I don't have to choose, I can do several of these things. There's a lot more, but that's some of it.
Mm-hmm. What would you recommend to students who want to get more engaged with the democratic process?
Go. Get involved. Join your local political party, whatever political party you are. I'm obviously a Democrat. Join your local Democratic Party. Join your local Republican Party. The Fairfax Democratic Party, the Fairfax Republican Party, the Loudoun, wherever you live, the Chesterfield one. You don't just have to get involved politically. You can also get involved in wonderful nonpartisan ways. It depends on how old the kid is. If you're 13 or 14, you can be a page in the General Assembly and really get an idea up close of how we do things. There's all kinds of nonprofits. If you want to help children, there's lots of ways to help children. You want to help people, the homeless, or you want to help people with disabilities. There's all kinds of ways. There's a million ways for people to get involved. Find out what your interest is. Find someone who does what you like, and then follow them. I'll give you an example. You know what? She wouldn't mind if I use her name, so I'm going to use her name. Barrett Fife was 16 years old and a constituent of mine in Alexandria, and she came to my office when I wasn't there and said, I want to work for Mark Levine. And they're like, oh, okay. So they called me up, and I'm like, sure, 16-year-old. She starts taking pictures at my events. Then she gets so good that I start giving her some really meaty stuff. Then she comes and works for me a year, just a session. Our sessions aren't really a year, they're like 2 months, in Richmond, helping me writing bills. Now she's in Iowa with the Pete Buttigieg campaign. She took a whole year off. But I knew her when, and so when she becomes governor, let's all remember, Barrett Fife started with me.
And lastly, what are your thoughts on how to address the college affordability issue?
That's a tough one. I think that there's a couple things. One, we have to deal with the problem of student loans. And we have to make sure that people don't get drowning in debt. And first of all, college isn't appropriate for everybody. One of the things we do really well in Virginia, frankly, and here in Northern Virginia, North Virginia Community College is far less expensive than your standard four-year liberal arts institution. And we even have ways to go directly from public school to NVCC. And you can also go from NVCC to a four-year college after 2 years and get a degree there. So that saves a lot of money. But in general, we need to make sure that education is available to everyone based on merit, not based on money. And that's the whole problem I think we have in our culture. If you believe in a meritocracy, as I do, and you believe people should succeed based on how good they are at a task, it shouldn't be based on how much money you have in the bank. That cure for cancer may just come from the 6-year-old girl in the housing project, but she's got to be well educated in order to come up and be that great scientist to give us the cure for cancer. So I think that we need to, I think there's a lot of wealth and inequality in America right now. More, I used to say more than any time since 1929. We've actually gone beyond 1929. 3 Americans, 3, have as much wealth as half the entire country, 150 million Americans. That doesn't make sense to me. So, I like Elizabeth Warren's wealth tax, all people who are afraid of it. If you make more than $50 million, you can afford to give up a cent or two. But mostly, we got to give everyone an equal chance, an equal floor, a chance to succeed. And that may mean, raising taxes on super rich people a little bit in order to give everyone a chance to succeed in life. And that will make college more affordable.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Delegate Mark Levine, for everything you had to say to us. Yes, thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Good luck with the gun reform, especially.
Thank you. We're going to do a lot about that.